Yeah, Robin, I've been really impressed with the overall demeanor of this group. They've been very talkative on the court. That's what you look for early in the process. They've been very diligent in their work. Big emphasis right now is with Kurt Joseph in the weight room and making sure that their bodies are built up where they can handle the type of load that we're going to throw at them. We did a lot of skill work the first week and a half. We have started going a little bit live at the end of practice just to get some things on film and what we need to correct. We're putting an edit for these guys every day on their computers that they can watch, and they've been really good about that as well. So, it's been a fun group to be around to this point. Obviously, we have not hit any adversity yet. There's been great enthusiasm with them, and, the thing that I think we've really addressed with this team is our shooting. When we've played live, our guys aren't hesitating. They're making the extra play. They're playing very unselfishly, and I've been really impressed with that aspect. I think it's going to be a team that's really fun to coach as we continue along. Give a quick update on Rink. He has been on the court doing individual workouts. He's up to 4 days a week now, and essentially he's putting the same load on his body as all the other guys that are out there working on the court together. He will be reintegrated into practice next week with the team in all the non-contact drills. He's still not ready for full contact. He actually might be ready, but we are not ready for him to be in that setting yet. He's doing awesome, exactly where he's supposed to be, but we're still going to be very cautious and very careful with him. Only other thing we're dealing with right now, Jamarcus tweaked his ankle a little bit at the end of practice yesterday, but it's nothing serious. Yeah, just leadership, coachability, everything that you want out of your lead guard. He's been very vocal, which that was something that he had to work on. When he first got here, he was a very quiet kid, but he has really grown in that area, and you have to have that. Our point guard, they're an extension of the coach over there, and I've been impressed with he and Kendall in that role, and Kale certainly is a guy that can play minutes for us at the point. Sam is getting some reps out there as well. And then again, our bigs, the other thing, with our bigs, not only ability to shoot, but I really think that they all have the ability to play make. You saw what Rink did for us a couple of years ago as a guy that initiated offense for us. But I've seen same thing out of Oogie, and Jared certainly has that ability. BK, who's in really good shape right now, I was really impressed with the way that he came in. And then Leo Curtis, may be the surprise for all of us so far in what he has shown. He's an unbelievable basketball IQ, really skilled, has a great touch, can really shoot the ball. Still got to grow. Body needs to get more mature, and I think we all knew that coming in. But what he has shown with his skill set, we're really happy. Yeah, Jamarcus, what happened, it happened. Listen, everybody makes decisions these days, and you wish them all the best in their new journey. We certainly did that with Jamarcus when he went to Rhode Island, and he had some really good moments for that team. He was obviously a huge part of that, starting at the point guard. I think a team that won their first 13 or 14 games a year ago, and I think he really grew in his maturity playing that role. So, when he did go into the portal and we made contact with Jamarcus, he did talk about some things that he missed. And, I think a big thing that we did that prior year where he had a big role on a team that made the NCAA tournament, he wanted to bring this team back there again. And, yeah, he's just, like I said, he's grown in so many areas. I'm proud of him. And I think he's primed for a really good season. And, it's good. The other thing about this group, I love the depth that we have of this team. It's not going to make my job easy when it comes to rotations, but this is a deep team with Jamarcus, with Kendall, and we've got size. That's the other thing that that I've really liked about this group is the overall length and size that we can put out there in the court, and a team that's got great versatility as well. And I know we're just starting this thing. We get 4 hours a week with them right now. We're staying very diligent to that. I don't know if everybody has the same approach on the rule. But, we're taking this as a long-term approach. But from what I've seen so far, it's going to be a fun team to watch. You're saying with Rink, you said? Yeah. Listen, Rink obviously didn't play for us 1 minute a year ago, but he still had an impact on the team. He was still a leader for this group. He was a guy that talked to our bigs a lot throughout the process and contributed as much as he can without being on the floor. Did everything he was supposed to do. I'm telling you, he's chomping at the bit to get out there and do more right now than we're allowing him to. And, he may have a setback along the way. That's going to be expected, which he has had a little bit of soreness in that, but, he should have soreness with what he went through with the invasiveness of that procedure that he had. But he has put on so much strength in his legs. Our training staff and strength and conditioning staff has done an absolutely phenomenal job of building his body to where he is right now, and now it's about shaving off weight as he gets back on the court and he gets up and down and gets his cardio where it needs to be. But, it gets you excited because, obviously we missed Rink in a big way last year with everything that he did for us, leading us in assists, leading us in rebounding, I think second or third in scoring the previous year. So just to watch him work out in his individual sessions and to see the shooting stroke, to see the leadership, the communication, even in a one-on-one workout, he's still out there talking. And we missed that a year ago without Rink. But leadership that he had a year ago, he's going to bring that obviously back on the court, and it's a lot easier to lead when you have a prominent role on the team. Yeah, it is important. The one guy that we will that has a commitment for the national team is Leo, and he will leave on Friday to join his national team. It's a great experience. I will never not encourage a player to play for their national team. I just think the benefit of that down the road for what that can do for a player with his long-term career and his future is very important. So, Leo will have a great opportunity to go play for the Icelandic national team and join Thor. Thor, listen, we talked to Thor a lot when we were going through the recruiting process with Leo. Mate Kavas was another guy that played with Leo on the same team in Iceland. So, it's a great opportunity. So my point on that whole thing is he'll be the one guy we don't have for most of the second summer session. Might get him back for the last week and a half or so as we finish off our summer workouts. But yeah, having everybody, Robin, has been really beneficial for us. And again, just all the things that you build and teach, to not have to do that individually or with a small group of guys that are not able to be here for the summer is really good. Even the guys that aren't out there in the court, Rink right now, Jamarcus, not being out there today, they're still able to be on the side and learn and lead and, figure out what the culture is all about. Yeah, it's pretty. They haven't gotten in a fight yet, so that's good. It's coming. But it's great to have Charlie here. He's, as I told him, as the coach's kid, you got to be the first one here. You got to be the last one to leave, and he's been very diligent in his work to this point. He's really trying to learn. He's watching both the offensive and defensive playbooks every day, and he's going to be a very valuable asset to our team. And the workouts, the rules don't apply to the GAs the same way that it does to the coaching staff, so they can be out there and rebound for the guys. And they're here all day. They're really the unsung heroes, I think, of your program, them and the managers, because of the amount of time that they spend in the office and on the floor. And, yeah, having Charlie around, it's great for me. It's probably better for my wife, to be honest with you. But, yeah, it's pretty cool to have him part of the program. Yeah, obviously we're going to miss Bryce a ton for everything that he did. 21-point scorer in league play, leading scorer in the conference, and a guy that made a lot of plays down the stretch and was very clutch for us. So we'll miss Bryce in a big way. But I was just texting with him a couple minutes ago, and as I told him, I said, listen, whatever happens in the next couple days, you put yourself in a great position for your future and for your career based on what you've done throughout the process. Not only what he did last year as a player, what he's done to grow as a player and develop as a player, but also what he's done in the pre-draft process. Struggled in his first game at the Combine, but led the the game in scoring with a 24-point effort. And he's been really good. I've been in communication with all the teams that he's worked out for, and they've all said he's done an excellent job, not only on the court but in his interview. And they talk about how quality of a kid he is, which makes me happy. So, he's put himself in a great spot. Hope we hear his name. If we don't, he's still going to be in a great position. I'm confident that he's going to be, with a great team, with a great organization, and again, Bryce deserves all the credit for putting himself in that position. Well, listen, one thing that I am proud of, looking back over our track record at two programs with Iowa State and Nebraska, hopefully Bryce will be the 13th player that plays in the NBA. I think that speaks for itself on development. We haven't had the McDonald's All-Americans or the 5-star recruits that walk through the door as pros. The 13 guys, when you look at their names, those guys have all developed. And that's one thing that I think is important when you look at this is, this isn't Kansas and Kentucky where those guys walk through the door as lottery picks. The development has been a big part of the success and the reason why a lot of our players have had opportunity, to play at the highest level. And guys that haven't played there have had very lucrative careers overseas. And you have to have a good staff in place that buys into that. It's one of the mission and one of the core values of our program is the development part of it. And, first of all, you get players that are willing to be in the gym and that are coachable. And, if they come in and buy in, they're going to put themselves hopefully in a position. And then the connections. I think that's another thing that's important is, the connections, the style of play, the NBA system, that helps at least our guys get their foot in the door, and then it's up to them to take advantage of it. And a lot of our guys have.
What do you think Braden got out of redshirting last year, and how are you seeing that?
Yeah, Braden, first of all, I just want to say how proud I am of Braden for how he has grown from when he came in here as a 17-year-old freshman to where he is now. And I know I've talked about this a lot. We really did contemplate taking his red shirt away a year ago when we were going through that stretch in the middle of the season where we were going through a slide. We felt his physicality, his toughness, his relentlessness, his ability to make shots could have helped us. And then we went on, I think, a 6-game winning streak after that. So in fairness to Braden, to give him the full 5-year program, we felt it was the right move to keep the red shirt and continue to develop. And he's in a really good place where he is right now. I think he's probably you look at what we'll miss with Juwan with some of those toughness intangibles and Braden's ability to go after the ball and rebound and dive on the floor. And I'm telling you, the kid can flat out stroke it. So yeah, Braden is, again, I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him that he's going to have a big role on this group, on this team. Yeah, Connor, again, he had 2 really good games for the Armenian national team against Costa Rica, one in Fresno, one in L.A., and played really well. Had 15 and 18, I think, in the 2 games. And that's very valuable, not only for the experience of going out there and playing in a different system, playing the FIBA basketball rules, but also what it can do for your confidence. I think you saw that with Keisei when he went over and played for his national team with Japan and what that did for his confidence. And, Connor, I don't think he's missed a shot yet in our live play. Now, we haven't played a ton, but, he's, I think, 5 for 5 from 3 and made his 1 layup. So, he's just a guy that, the way he finished off the season after a tough ending night and, regrouped and was very important for us in winning that Crown Championship out in Las Vegas. So he's in a really good place right now. And, again, I admire Connor for everything he's all about, his faith, and, how that's really helped him grow and get through tough times. And yeah, he's just in a really good place right now. Yeah, a lot of things we're doing with our guys. They're getting out in the community a bunch right now with our life skills program that Keith Zimmer does such a phenomenal job with. And Luca, our GM, is awesome in getting our guys out there and going to hospitals and visiting schools. They were at Matt Talbot Kitchen, about 10 days ago. And, we got a pool day with them coming up. We're going to go all see Jurassic Park together, which I might be more excited than any of them for that. But, yeah, they're spending a lot of really quality time together off the court, which is important. If you're close off the court, I really do truly believe that translates to on-court chemistry. And, so far so good with that. And, again, the true test is how if that continues through tough times and adversity. But with this group, I'm confident that'll happen. Yeah, I'm excited about our non-conference schedule. We're going to have obviously some great tests in that. Creighton at home this year. A team that's going to be at the top of the Big East standings again. Playing Oklahoma up at the Pentagon will be an awesome early test for our team. And then the 2 games that we'll play in Kansas City, with 3 really high quality, high major opponents. And then, some quality, bye games that we'll play at home as well that'll prepare us for the grind of the 20-game Big Ten schedule. So, yeah, I think we did a good job with our schedule and excited to see where we are.
For next year, sounds like all that maybe the potential for a 32nd game. How would you anticipate you guys using that?
Yeah, Luka does a great job helping us with our schedule. And, we've got a lot of different options, with multi-team events moving forward now. You used to play 3, now you get the extra game if you play 2. So, that's in play this year. Obviously, we're playing 2. As opposed to a 3-game MTE like we did a year ago in Hawaii. So there's a lot of things that Luka's working on right now, to give us the most flexibility we can. Yeah, I think that's good. I do like the continuation rule. And the coach's challenge, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how that whole thing plays out. We had that in the Crown, where there was one play at the end of the championship game where Central Florida, if they challenged it, I don't think they had a timeout left, which would have been a technical if they missed out on the challenge. So, it's going to be interesting how it all plays out. We'll experiment with it in practices. We'll have somebody that will be behind our bench, similar to what they do in the NBA, that will be the challenge guy, to tell me to hit that button. Is that how we do it? I don't even know. Is it a button? Is it a towel? Is it the flag we throw in the court? But yeah, there's still a lot of unanswered questions with it. But yeah, I do think they're both positive rule changes.
There's also a lot of momentum about expanding the NCAA tournaments. Do you have an opinion?
Listen, I think the NCAA tournament is the greatest sporting event in the country. So I like it. I like it as is. Yeah, Price has been great. Another guy that can really shoot the ball, and he's got really good size and length. His brother Peyton was in the building yesterday. He's recovering from a shoulder injury, but having Price on our side, I'm excited about. We don't have to play against him first of all anymore, but yeah, his ability to knock down shots, and he's more than just a shooter. He can put it on the deck. I think he can initiate some offense for us. I think he's underrated on the other end of the floor, and I think. He's a guy that should be able to get rebounds for us. So just a really good all-around get for us, and excited to have Price on our team. Yeah, Pat's been great. He's very detailed, and as soon as practice is over, he comes in with a list of what we need to work on, what we need to emphasize in practice the next day. He and I will go back and review the practice and put an edit together for the guys. And he's gotten us involved with some guys, that can be high-level recruits. And I know he's very well connected when the portal season rolls around as well. So yeah, I've been impressed with Pat.
Once the barricade being in better shape, kind of raised the ceiling, thinking, what can he do now that he can?
Yeah, I mean he's so versatile, Wilson, as you know, and I feel bad for the kid because of how. When he was playing his best basketball, he went down with a very unfortunate injury, not only for BK, but for our team. We had a really good stretch going at that time, and, he plays his best game as a college basketball player, and then, 10 days he really couldn't do anything. And he gets a day or two of practice, and we throw him back into the fire, and he just never regained his rhythm. So, being in shape right now, I think gives him a much better opportunity to get back to that point of where he was when he got hurt in that Ohio State game. And listen, he's got size, length, defense. He had a good year defensively. He really did. Analytically, you look at it, he was our best defender, a guy that can rebound it, handle it. And, I think you ask BK what he's doing, he's just shooting better. And he's worked very hard on that in the offseason, and he's shooting the ball well right now. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything until you get out there between the lines, but he's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and that needs to continue throughout the season, regardless of what happens. BK is a very he sees everything, he hears everything, and I got to get him to quit doing that. You know, one of the best things I did is when he stopped reading Twitter during the season, and you know, for him, you know, you can't do that stuff and stay consistent. And that's not just Burkhead, it's everybody. You know, they all got to do that. Put those stupid devices down and not look at that stuff when negativity is going around. So, you know, but yes, to answer your question, Wilson, BK's in a great place, and, you know, I expect a much improved year this year.
What do you think about Kendall Blue? How big of an impact do you think he can make here and making that jump from where he came from?
Yeah, the thing that stands out with Kendall is his size, and you know, a guy that will play the point guard position for us at 6'6". I think he and Jamarcus will play well together at times out there as well. But you know, what I've seen with Kendall is his ability to get the ball into the pocket. Shot 42% from three a year ago, and just his overall length will open up a lot of things for us. I think he can post him some when he's got a smaller defender on him, just with that length. But I've really been impressed with Kendall's feel. He's a smart kid, a high IQ guy, and you have to have that at the position that he's playing. Yeah, I think there's more of them coming over right now. Part of it, you know, I think is the revenue sharing and NIL opportunities that these players have to make over here as opposed to starting their professional career. You look at a couple teams in our league that are really built with international players. You know, with us, we've always tried to recruit all over, you know, the country, the world, and, you know, try to build the team the best you can. And, you know, for us this year, I happen to come with a lot of guys that have international play or international experience. And, you know, again, when you look at some of those players, just the way that they approach things early in their career, they're very fundamental, you know, probably more fundamental than what the players a lot of times are brought over here. So that's what you see first and foremost is a very fundamental player. You know, Oogie, a guy, you know, I haven't talked about him a lot to this point, but, you know, Oogie's, you talk about a beautiful stroke. I mean, he can really shoot the ball at 6'11", and his size and his ability to finish inside. So, you know, again, you know, when I talked, I think it was the very first thing I said today is I think we've addressed our shooting. We're going to have five guys on the court a lot of times that can make a shot. You know, we didn't have that last year very often, you know, at least from a high percentage. So, you know, our ability to knock down shots, man, that's a game changer for you on that end of the floor. I don't get to be a rocket scientist to know that, Justin, but thank God you're not. But anyway, it's but no, it's fun to be out there when you got multiple guys that can knock down shots. And again, the international guys have been a big part of that. As far as having other guys that can shoot, I think it really helps the playmakers more than anybody because, you know, that takes away, you know, we call it the gravity. You know, Connor's got gravity. You know, Oogie's got gravity. Rink has gravity. Price, you know, really go down the line. A lot of our guys, you know, that suck the defense closer, that opens up the lane for the playmakers. And now the help comes, and now you can spray it out and hopefully knock down shots. It just, listen, when you have to play all five guys in the court, you know, we've had a couple times where we had lineups out there in the last few years where the defender could sit right in the middle of the lane and not have to worry about it. I don't think that's going to be a problem for us this year. So when you have to be accountable for all five guys in the court, that opens up a lot of things.
You brought up NIL. Since you last spoke to you, the House versus NCAA ruling came out. How have you handled that as a basketball program?
That's a great question, and I thought it would have been asked a lot earlier. Listen, I'll say this. There's a lot of unanswered questions as this thing will progress. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad the case was finally settled, and now we can move on with our lives. You know, at least for the rules that we've heard. We had our league meetings in LA. You know, we talked to our commissioner a lot about how this thing was going to take place. Talked to Troy Dannon in leadership of our athletic program about what to expect. And you know, listen, from everything we understand, you know, revenue sharing is going to be the main source for these guys now. The true NIL deals are going to have to go through the clearinghouse that's run by a very reputable company with Deloitte. And, you know, we'll see how that all plays out on what a fair market value is for somebody to be approved an NIL deal. But, you know, until we see, you know, a deal that's rejected, which I don't think that's happened yet, you know, what exactly the parameters are within an NIL deal getting approved, So, you know, still a lot of things I think to play out in this regard, but I am happy at least that, you know, the way we understand it right now, there's going to be some guardrails in place. And now it's about, you know, playing within the rules and, you know, hopefully doing the best job you can with pretty much what I kind of the way we look at is a set salary cap for your roster, you know, whatever the decision is by Troy, you know, for what, you know, what we'll have to operate under. So, you know, we're in constant communication on it, and we're going to do the best job we can in this new landscape.
And as a follow-up, what about with the players? Have they come to you and talked about it? Have they said, hey, let's talk moving forward? How do we handle that conversation?
Yeah, not to this point, no. Most of them have representation. You know, the ones that don't, you know, certainly will have conversations when the time is right. They are getting educated on that. We have people within our athletic department that do help them, you know, with the education process and, you know, the education piece as we go into this new era of college athletics. Yeah, as far as going forward talks, as far as future, no. I mean, our roster's set this year. You know, everybody has, you know, what they're going to get, and then, you know, we'll worry about the future when it comes. All right, thanks, guys.
It was amazing. Yeah, I love going out there, representing a country and being able to, you know, play for something so much bigger than myself. Not just a university, but I mean a whole country in itself. It's an unbelievable experience. And there's so many Armenians out in LA and Glendale, and being able to see the sport out there was pretty unbelievable. Yeah, it's my dad's side. Yep. It's a little different. It's a different type of physical. FIBA refs don't call as many fouls, and obviously being used to that with the Big Ten, that's how it is, night in and night out. But FIBA's a little different, and especially when you're going up against guys that are all 30 years old, changes things. You know, there's a lot of older guys in college now, and now I'm a senior, but 30 years old is that gets up there.
How was it transitioning between the basketball?
I hated it. The FIBA balls were different, and I don't know if the ones we used were, I don't know, but it's different getting used to a different ball. I mean, it was different when we changed from the older Wilson to these new Evos. And I mean, the same thing is when we would come here and play, and we had to use the Adidas balls my freshman and I think it was sophomore year too, maybe, I don't know. It's always hard to change, but shoot or shoot, so I just tried my best, yeah.
You know, last year you read it for a couple of weeks, but I guess early impressions of this new group. What are some of the characteristics you've seen so far, you know, now that everybody's on campus?
I'm excited. I'm really excited for this year. We got a lot of really good dudes on and off the court. The coaches did a really good job of getting the right people in the locker room. Like you said, I've only been with them for a couple of weeks now, but I was with almost everybody, you know, at almost every dinner on visits. And as soon as I saw them, I was able to meet them. And honestly, it sounds cliche, but when my dog met him, you know, just the way that she reacted to him, it kind of gave me a good indicator of what this team was going to be like. And so I'm really excited for what we got in this locker room.
You always been a guy throughout your career who was involved with the UFC as a baby type of thing?
I guess it's kind of a thing in college basketball. As you get older, you kind of host more because you kind of been with the ropes a little bit and understand a little bit. But I mean, my visits, you know, it's a big part, obviously, of what you do, and having the right people around is really important. But I mean, you could have had anybody on our team host anybody, and it would have been just fine.
I know you've been limited in how much workout you can do with you guys, but has anybody kind of stood out to you for the league?
There's a lot of learning curves with the type of offense and the defense we run, and I know exactly what they're going through right now, being in it for a year now, and so I'm excited for everybody we got. Honestly, we're going to be a really deep team this year, and I'm really, you know, we got a lot of guys that can shoot it, and a lot of guys that are super hungry right now, and you can't really ask for much more than that for a lot of new guys coming in. And the way we all click together already, it's pretty hard in this whole new transfer portal world, but you know, I think we figured it out pretty good so far.
You mentioned the shooting. How quickly did you see that going to be a improved part of the
I mean, there was definitely an emphasis, I think, for coaches this summer in recruiting, and you know, we can have 5 guys on the floor that can space it and shoot it, and that's going to be a game changer for our offense.
Or do you like to progress in your games on your college basketball?
just be able to take a new a leadership role in everything I do, whether it's just helping guys out with plays, with defense. Now I should have this defense, locked in my brain, and I have no excuses anymore. And to really just take everything to the next level, to just carry this program and represent it the right way. But in terms of basketball, the defensive side is definitely something that I knew I needed to get better at, and have always needed to get better at. And so my body has been something I've really been trying to take account for this summer. And Kurt's been on my tail about it, and it's been really good. And being able to do more than just shoot it too. Whether it doesn't have to necessarily be scoring, but reading the right way on the court and open more guys up, especially with how many guys that we got that can shoot it and can score it. I don't need to score, for us to be good.
How do you even begin to describe the difference between this summer and the last summer, when you guys learning the coaching staff and the talent and now being the guys in the court?
Feels nice. I can't lie. Just anytime you get to a new situation, new culture, it's completely different, and your brain goes in so many different ways. And the style of basketball and style of play, from one university to another is always so much different. And I can only imagine what some of these guys are going through, especially the freshmen. And you can kind of see it in practice, just the confusion a little bit, but they're starting to click a little better each and every day. But it's definitely good being on the end, just where I know everything a little bit more. It's just you're a little more comfortable.
So Steve Kerr, the head coach of the U.S. Olympic team, talked about the jump that players make when they play FIBA. Obviously, you're not with the U.S. Armenia. However, what jump do you think you're going to make from playing, as you just mentioned, 30-year-old grown men now coming back to people in college, 18 to 24, 25?
You have to, when you play against guys that are older and stronger, you got to find ways to kind of create, not necessarily being shifty with the ball. It's more about movement and cutting and knowing spacing. And FIBA guys, everyone's pretty smart. A lot of people in Europe and overseas, it's what they grow up. They grow up being smart with basketball, and being able to take that physicality and understand it, and kind of maybe just use the little tactics, just using your hands a lot more in ways that refs can't see. And that was a lot of stuff they did in the FIBA stuff. And so being able to take little tiny things like that and kind of teaching guys would be big.
Leadership and talking about that stuff back in Las Vegas about how Steve Baton was able to pass for you as being one of the vocal leaders of this team. How long have you been kind of preparing yourself to take over that role? And is this kind of a situation where now it's finally your time for sometimes you can't force being a leader, but that's come naturally? Is this kind of all setting up for you to take that role?
Just being here, helps. We got a bunch of guys that feed off of each other. Being a leader is just something that, anybody can do it, if they take accountability for it. And now being a senior, this is my 4th year in the Big Ten now, which sounds crazy to me, but, you just naturally have those years playing in this league, and being able to just share my wisdom that I have, being here in 4 years, and, you kind of just learn through the fire. So being able to just take what I got and kind of using that every single day.
Are you learning and noticing anything about Wayne's style of leadership now that he's back fully in the
He's a smart dude, and I'm really excited to play with him this year. It sucked that we didn't have him last year, but the way he worked, the whole 12, 13 months that he's been out, it's unbelievable. I don't know many people that can work so hard consistently and not be able to touch a basketball. And the drive that he has and the competitiveness that he has, I played against him when I was at Wisconsin and saw it then. Played against him, and be able to just, even on the sideline when he was out, he was always talking to us last year, and to be able to have his vocal leadership, too, back this year, and just his IQ is going to be amazing for us. We haven't had him, quite with that yet. He's still working on to get some other things set out, but he's always there talking with us still, and I think we should have him back pretty soon. Don't ask me anything about that because I really have no idea. That's for him and our doctors to figure out. But he just his presence, you can already feel it. You can already just feel it, in the locker room and the coaches and the buzz that we're gonna have with him. Man, I'm praying for him. I'm hoping that he's able to hear his name called tonight. Whether that's God's plan or not, God already knows what's going to happen. But I I'd be really, really stoked for him. He was a great dude on and off the court. And just his way to just go get a bucket is something that not many people have. I mean, you could have thrown the ball to him against any team in the country, anybody guarding him, and he could have gotten a bucket at any point. And, you know, we're definitely, you know, we're going to miss that, but, you know, we got a different, you know, type of team this year. And, you know, you learn and grow and you develop in different ways. But in Bryce's standpoint, I'm excited to see what he can do in the NBA. I'd definitely rather have him wearing red, that's for sure. He's another guy that can shoot it lights out. He's got size, and he's definitely more athletic than I thought he was. He threw down a couple of dunks in practice the other day that caught me off guard. I'd never seen him dunk it before, honestly. And so I was really stoked to see that. And his brother was just here, Peyton, you know, just hanging out, you know, the last couple of days. And, you know, it's just good to have the Sanfords on our side, for sure. I think we're probably going to figure something out to do it, yeah, so we can see if Bryce gets his name called, we can be there for him. I talked about hungry earlier, and he's one of the hungriest. We got to tell him to get out of the gym sometimes, and there's not a lot of people that you have to do that to. And he's in there working all the time, and if you guys had access to the gym and you guys walked in, he'd be in there. And he, being a Lincoln kid, you know, playing for, you know, the school that you watch growing up, you know, he works hard, and that's really all you can really say about him because it carries over in everything he does. And so he's super athletic, can shoot it, and I'm really excited to have him on the floor this year. Yeah, I've definitely gotten stronger. Put on a little bit more weight too, and that was something that I'm still working to do. But you know, my explosiveness is getting back a little bit more, and you know, I'm just excited to get back out there and, you know, see how it translates. 200 now.
You're pretty active on social media. How are you able to balance that and everything you have to do as an athlete?
It's pretty tough. I'm getting to the point where I'm probably going to have to start working with people to help me out a little bit. But it's just something I grew up enjoying. My dad started out recording for our high school team. I made these little like game recap videos and season recap videos, and I'd go in there and watch him do it. And he had a little camera that he used, and I would just mess around with it. And then eventually it carried over into what I did. And you know, it's just something I basically get to keep memories for forever. We can go back and look at, and it's a lot of stuff that you guys don't get to see behind the scenes that I enjoy being able to show you guys kind of what it's like, you know, behind the scenes. And there's a lot more to us than just basketball players, and you guys kind of hopefully get to see that, a lot more of our personalities.
Why is it important for you to build your personal brand?
One, it's just something I enjoy. I love doing. Just being able to connect with so many people on a different level. And then, you know, in today's day and age, you know, it is a little way to make a little extra money. But that's not really something I'm really worried about with it. It's just something that I'll probably do as long as I can because I love cameras, I love messing around, and just having fun with the guys. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Robin, how's it going? Good. Yes, it's like the ankle, like kind of Achilles. I took like a bad step yesterday in practice. Nothing serious, so it's kind of day by day for me. I took off today, just treating it well, and hopefully see how I feel tomorrow.
This last month just kind of been full circle for you in the fact that you're new, but you're also one of the most veteran guys from running back.
Yeah, no, just it's full circle. It feels good to, like, you know, obviously go somewhere. I wouldn't say new, but just coming back, you know, knowing I know pretty much everything that, you know, we run here, and not a fan of like doing all the new stuff, you know, there's all the other stuff, but the basketball part's been good.
How are you coaching? Because on one hand, you're technically but you also have that experience and understand what it takes to get Nebraska to where they want to go. Have you hit the ground running as far as being a vocal leader with just your experience, or are you just kind of easing into that?
No, as soon as I came back, that was a big thing of mine coming back. Was just being that more of a vocal leader. Now I'm a vet, just showing the new guys and the younger guys, how things are ran.
How did that develop, Fred? You mentioned earlier that was a difference you saw here this time that you talk more, you're more comfortable. How did you develop that leadership?
I'll just give thanks to them. I mean, as soon as when I first got here, I wasn't as comfortable, and then as the years went on, you just kind of just break out that shell. I mean, I guess the leadership. I'm gonna stay on that. So far as like my game wise, not a big difference too much. I'm still doing the same thing. Obviously, improving is a goal, but yeah, just being a leader is the big thing for me. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, especially like with the team this year. We're very unique. A lot of shooting from top of the roster to the bottom, guards to bigs. Just talking to him, and just gonna say, I know how he plays. He knows how I play, so we're just kind of conversating about how it's good to be back and playing with each other. So.
What did you miss about Nebraska?
Man, just good people, culture. I think culture is a big thing in basketball. Like I said, just it's so many great people in the community. When I came back, everybody just showing love and just not bugging me about leaving or whatever. They just all welcome me back. It's been good. I feel like it was smooth because I've been watching games all this past year. Just kind of looking back, putting myself in certain situations if I was still here or whatever. But like I said, when I first got the call, I was surprised, and it was no doubt from there. It was something I was kind of already really thinking about, but. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like I said, just my thing is just having good relationships with people, and I just think I didn't leave on no bad terms, and like I said, I had nothing but respect for the coaching staff and the whole organization. So I think that was a good plus.
How do you see your role this year as far as on the court compared to what it was 2 years ago in Texas? Is it pretty similar, or do you see some differences?
It's looking like I'll be taking the lead guard. So far we haven't established anything yet, but as I'm looking at it, point guard. But feel like I got the experience already. I'm older, more mature, kind of been through the experience. Like I said, if they need me to play off the ball, I can do that as well. It's just good that I pretty much know the system, and I could play, multiple positions. So.
What do you think you got out of your season at Rhode Island?
What I got out of it is just being put in like different positions. Obviously, like when I was here, I didn't have enough like actions ran for me. So I think just going to Rhode Island, just me going through screens or handling the ball more, that was a good experience. Like I said, we all can shoot. I think by far, personally, I think this might be the best shooting team that I might be a part of. Like I said, it's great, and playing PG is something I want to work on for me. So I think it'll be fun. Just trying to just create for other guys. It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
2 years ago, when you were asked to be the point guard, you kind of had to learn trial by fire a little bit. I guess
Right.
From that experience and then coming through and going into it now, what makes a good lead guard in Texas?
A lot of pace. Definitely like high IQ. Feel like you really can't be as selfish a little bit. Like I said, just setting up other players. When I first got into the role, I mean, obviously it was a little nerves. My first time playing it, so I just had to go through that. The good and bad, and just take all that and kind of just implement it now. Really.
Kendall Blue, he's one of the new faces, and he might be an option to play point.
Mhm.
What stood out about him, and have you kind of been like a hopeful person for him to anything at this point?
Yeah, we're talking every day. I mean, obviously he's kind of in the same situation as me. Never played the one, so I know what he's going through. It's a plus. He's a bigger guard. So, in case I'm out, we need a bigger lineup. Yeah, he'll be good for that for sure.
How similar or different is his summer workouts feel just like compared to your first 2 years having been away? Do you really feel different? It feels strange to do that?
No, not at all. But definitely taking my load easier. Not discredit Rhode Island or anything. It's just I know at Rhode Island we was going hard. Here we value just taking care of our bodies. Things that we're kind of easing our way back into things. So it's good.
Maybe you compare, just getting to know this group, but what are some of the immediate similarities and differences between this group and the one you played here?
I think it's just more personalities for sure. By far, like this time around in the summer, you're still trying to build connections, still trying to get to know a couple guys. But I feel like this year I came back, it was instantly kind of just clicked to everybody, connected real well too. Obviously from here we're gonna grow relationships more, so that's a good thing. Definitely handling the basketball, protecting it, just playing more smarter too. I think that's the biggest thing for me. Just being under control and in tough situations. But yeah, just playing more smart is really for me. It's good. Thank you guys. Good seeing you, man.